It was about 3 a.m. and I was turning back and forth in bed, going through my thoughts, thinking about how the world is slowly heading towards a reality like something out of a movie. It got me thinking, is all this happening because we've been bad to the planet? Is it because we can't live in harmony with the planet? I mean, what even counts as living in harmony? Let's look into it. I, just like thousands of other people around the world, watched the movie Contagion just a couple weeks ago, just when this virus started going rampant. If somehow you haven't seen the movie yet or don't know the movie, Contagion is a movie about a pandemic spreading throughout the world. If anyone watches the movie, they'll see the uncanny similarities in the movie compared to the real world right now. So there's something that happens at the end of the movie that bothered me for a while. I'm about to spoil the end of the movie right now, so if you don't want it spoiled, turn off the video. Here is the scene in the movie where it all begins. It all starts with this bat. You can see this bat holding some type of food in its mouth that contains the deadly virus in the movie known as MEV1. This bat happens to fly into a warehouse storing pigs. The bat then drops the food down, which a pig walking just eats. It all starts here. You can see the pig is eventually selected to be transported to a restaurant, which will then be prepared by a head chef. You can see the chef is now touching the area where the virus was present in the pig's mouth, and then proceeds to not wash his hands before greeting a guest customer. The virus is now passed to her, and she is now patient 1. Now this is quite plausible in the real world, and many viruses in real life also take place in a very similar way. Now the thing that caught my attention was this bat going into the warehouse, dropping this virus, which then was eaten by the pig to then infect all of humanity, would not have happened had that bulldozer not have cut that tree down. The one who directed or made the script of the movie certainly had this message in mind, that humanity isn't doing right by nature, and that nature fights back. Now you can call it Mother Nature, Father Nature, Sister Nature, God, the simulation, the universe, whatever you decide to call it, humanity certainly gets back what it deserves. Now the rabbit hole goes much deeper than that in the script of the movie. If you look closely at the bulldozer that cuts down the tree, the logo on it says AIM Alderson. If you pay attention later in the movie, the character Beth, played by the actress Gwyneth Paltrow, actually works in a company called AIM Alderson. She was also the first patient and also an employee of AIM Alderson. You'll also notice another one of the first people to get the virus also worked for AIM Alderson. The bat getting pushed out of its habitat and the virus being brought back to the company paints an interesting picture that the directors certainly intended. So let's get back to topic. Humans living in harmony with the planet. It's just politics and large corporations ruining the planet, and the technology is totally available, right? Well, kind of. There's a lot more to it than just that. It's not just a simple conspiracy. Like most things, the rabbit hole goes much deeper. Let me explain better what I'm trying to say. So think of other living things on Earth. All other living things on Earth seem to live in harmony with the planet and its ecosystem. And then there's us, literally destroying the planet. Now, I'm not just referring to climate change. I mean, yes, that's bad, but our inherent way of functioning as a society and the devices we use on a daily basis all seem to be a problem. The material we use to make packaging, plastic, the toxic waste produced from the electronic products we use and scrap away. By the way, those scrap away products get scrapped away to developing countries. Just as a side note, the way our entire life is powered by electricity, which is produced either by burning natural gases, nuclear power, or through renewable resources, wind, solar, etc. Now, it's not like we're not trying to find solutions to these problems. Lots of people working long and hard have been trying to find different ways to solve some of these issues. One example would be the increase in the use of renewable resources, like to power our electricity. Most of us grew up thinking, pretty simple, right? Put a bunch of solar panels over every single house in the country, have windmills all over the place. It'll be perfect. Only issue is they don't work. Okay, let me explain. Michael Schellenberg is an environmental policy writer and author. He talks about this topic in great detail as to why renewable energies are not the answer at all, covering all the reasons why they don't work. Now keep in mind, Michael Schellenberg has spent most of his life dedicated to bringing renewable energy to the public, with Barack Obama accepting their vision and the United States investing $150 billion into renewable energy, but then years later realizing that it isn't the answer. Here's why they don't work. Solar roofs on top of houses cost 2 times as much as solar farms. Alright, so we just use solar farms everywhere, right? Well, not really. Solar farms and wind farms as well, actually, need an insane amount of landmass to produce even close to as much power to run a country. Not just that, but if you make a solar and wind farm, you would need to make a new system and new power lines to transmit all the power to the communities needing the power, which, you guessed it, also costs more money. Well, the issue isn't just money though, because wildlife and conservationists and local communities want to protect the natural habitat of animals. Oh, also, did I mention that windmills kill around 500,000 birds a year, and some sources say close to 700,000. You might hear an argument that brings up stats that house cats kill actually about 1 billion birds per year, which is undeniably quite surprising. But firstly, the birds that house cats kill are pigeons and very common birds that aren't in danger of going extinct. Secondly, killing close to 1 million animals in any species and then saying that other animals do it too, in my opinion, is just ridiculous. It does not count as a justification for windmills to kill close to 1 million birds every year. Okay, so solar panels and solar farms everywhere then, right? Nope, that doesn't work either. Solar panels kill thousands of birds every year as well. They reflect solar light from the sun and basically cook and fry the bird flying above until it catches on fire and falls to its death. Now, I don't want to turn this into a windmill and solar hate video, but there are countless cases where windmills kill people too. Solar panels, wind turbines, and other methods are too expensive and don't produce nearly as much power, or they're just harming the environment in many, many other ways. Also, solar farms and wind farms need us to destroy lots of land to have them set up. If solar farms are our way of producing electricity, then this is what our future might look like. Now, I'm a huge fan of the cyberpunk aesthetic, like most people are, but what we fail to realize is the cyberpunk world sucks. When I say sucks, I mean living there would be a nightmare. Wildlife and nature are the last things to care about in a cyberpunk world. Now, even though the neon lights and the holographic advertisements look pretty cool, they're definitely not the ideal future. So is it all doom and gloom? No, it's not. As Michael Schellenberg mentions, nuclear energy might be the best option for a sustainable future that doesn't involve killing large amounts of animals and a certain number of people. Nuclear might be the method for the future if you want clean, 0% carbon emissions and 0% fatality rate when it comes to killing animals, humans, and destroying natural habitat. All of this being said, I think there's a deeper philosophy we can learn here, one that hints at humanity's urge to make things perfect and eternal, but yet not realizing that we can only hope to accomplish so much in our single lives. Even as a species, we have to realize that if we somehow find a way to make a sustainable power source, we'll eventually have to come to the realization that we and everything in our universe is finite. Everything having a limited number of days to exist. While speaking of things that are finite, the universe itself is also finite. After we make a close to perfect energy source on Earth, we end up realizing that this planet is limited in its resources, and the increasing population of humanity will eventually fill up the planet, and we have to look outward. Maybe leave to Mars, maybe the moons of Jupiter. Let's say we somehow colonize the entire solar system, as Elon Musk wishes to do, or maybe even colonize the entire Milky Way galaxy. It doesn't change the fact that we will eventually run out of areas to colonize, and everything in the universe is finite. Not infinite, but finite. The universe is said to be expanding right now as I write the script for this video, and will continue expanding long after any of us are alive. It is said that the universe will expand until every star and galaxy is pushed away from each other by dark matter. Eventually, even atoms will be pushed away from each other, which will prevent any new stars from forming. The universe will then inevitably come to an end. Okay, I'm sorry for the slight existential crisis that I've given someone, but my point is just that our life and the universe itself will come to an end, and what we can do is do our best and help save and improve as many lives as we can. And thank you for watching.